How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And today we're going to talk about a game that takes another look at the war on drugs. This one was developed by the Oliver twins. So, yeah, if you don't know who the Oliver twins are, Codemasters, basically. And that means that by and large, this game is probably not going to suck. I'm pretty certain it's a slight bit better than the last unlicensed title we talked about that took on the war on drugs, which was Wally Bear in the No Game. Well, this one feels closer to Narc or Codename Viper, which were licensed games that were set around the war on drugs, than pretty much anything else. This one is set in some fictitious country where drug lords have set up shop. They've basically circled the wagons and decided we're going to do all the manufacturing and we're going to pump this out all over the world, including the U.S. And the government in that country is basically powerless. They call on the U.S. government for help. U.S. government was like, all right. Drop some paratroopers in. Paratroopers are in peril, so they send in an attack helicopter. The objective, swift and blinding violence, pick up our people and get out. And by and large, this game ain't bad at all. It's actually pretty good. Takes a really interesting take at aerial combat, especially involving helicopters. And yeah, especially on the NES, it feels like a precursor to Desert Strike. But, let's get into it. Today, we're going to take a quick look at Firehawk. Now, I done dumped a whole lot about the story in already. Firehawk is pretty fun. Graphically, it's pretty impressive. It's bright, it's colorful. The sound is typical Codemasters fare, which means the music is really, really good, albeit super European. And the controls are good for what they are. You control a helicopter, so there's a lot of momentum involved and a lot of extra movement after you stop moving, that kind of thing. But it's supposed to be a thing because helicopters do that. Well, this game handles that pretty well. You are in an overhead perspective, and it's kind of like Raid on Bungling Bay, or a more appropriate comparison is the Strike series from EA, where you kind of fly around the helicopter in a kind of isometric view more than the overhead view in this game. When you get to a hostage, the perspective shifts to a really, really closely zoomed in behind the helicopter view, where you have to shoot down enemy attack helicopters with a rope lowered so you can catch your hostage and rescue them. You catch all the hostages, rescue them, bring them back to the aircraft carrier where you're located, and you go to the next level. And you blow up different installations around the island or around whatever level you're on, because it looks like all the levels are islands. Don't none of this stuff really look landlocked. There's water all over the place, a bunch of peninsula, isthmus, all kinds of situations like that. And you blow stuff up, you get power-ups, you get ammo, you get fuel upgrades, all that stuff. And you need that stuff because this game ain't easy. A lot of stuff flying at you. You got, your fuel is basically your time, so you need to collect fuel to keep going. But this game is a lot better than it has any right to be. And I feel like I say that about a lot of Codemasters NES stuff because unlicensed games are inherently going to not be as good as the licensed stuff. Then again, Codemaster stuff is by and large better than a lot of the licensed stuff. They were an anomaly. A very, very good anomaly. And Firehawk is a really, really good take on helicopter combat on the NES. Now, let's say you want a copy of Firehawk. $15 will get you a loose cart. Not a real crazy price. You can definitely get copies for cheaper than that. And honestly, I wouldn't begrudge you if you did. But this one is worth the $15 to $20 that you might pay for a copy. It's a solid game. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. And you'll enjoy it. So yeah, by all means, get yourself a copy of Firehawk. Get yourself a copy of Firehawk. You'll enjoy it. Yep. But this has been the 8-Bit Animal. And I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah, you got 3 wishes. And one of them should be that this thing didn't get ported from the Genesis to the Game Boy and laundered from the Game Boy to the NES. Thankfully, we didn't get it here in the US.